Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Monday meeting at company. 'Tis I, Mr. Coworker. Trademark. You may have noticed I am not wearing pants today, but that's okay. Don't call HR because we made sexual harassment legal. Isn't that just convenient? Now, today's meeting is called with a very particular topic in mind. It has come to my attention that Patricia has a wedding next weekend, and I am not invited to Patricia's wedding. And I know what you might say. Oh, Mr. Coworker, you don't even work in the same department. Do you even know Patricia? Well, no, but that's beside the point, because at this company, we're a fucking family, and how dare Patricia not invite her own fucking family to her own wedding? Patricia, I think she should be written up for this and be potentially fired because she's not inviting her family, which is his company, to her wedding. Outrageous! Oh, yes, that intro just gave me some of that sweet post-PTSD about working in an office. Good evening, laddies, lasses, and lasses, and welcome to the clique. You smell absolutely astounding today. And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. They will be written up with HR for not acknowledging your fantastic smell. Coworker stories and horror stories about offices, a surprisingly funny and relatable topic. And that's why today I figured we would dig through r/Coworker Stories. Enjoy. Mwah. That's why it's so nice to be a YouTuber. The only coworker I have is myself. Please send help. It's a nightmare. Thank you. Is it just me or is this meeting getting hot? Don't call HR, please. r/Coworker Stories. A coworker found me on a dating app and won't let it go. What do? I am a female that works in a primarily male-dominated field. I truly love my job. It's probably the best one I've had by far. Here is the coworker issue. One of my coworkers found me on a dating app. Well, he said his brother found me and asked him if he worked with me, due to my specification of the industry I worked in / my location. I wasn't working the day he made the discovery. Upon finding out I was on said dating app, he made it a point to let everyone know I was. I found it odd. Why should he or anyone else care? I mean, the cover story of the brother finding you is awfully convenient, isn't it? If someone did this to me in an office, I would just take screenshots of their dating profile instead and put up printed papers everywhere showing how cringe they are, showing off their damn fishes and stuff. That'd be absolutely amazing. I then realized it was in a damn she's desperate fashion for being on a dating app. For being on a dating app? Dear God, man. Not only is the workplace and field in general male-dominated, but I am more than 20 years younger than the majority of my coworkers, with the exception of the guy who spread the info and a couple of others. He just sounds like a bully. Honestly, you could probably take this to HR and kind of like report him for some sort of sexual harassment because he's like harassing you about a dating profile at work, right? Like that should be deemed very inappropriate. I'm also surprised anyone does this. I briefly remember back in the day, I saw a coworker on Tinder or whatever. This was many years ago, and maybe they saw me as well. I don't actually know. We didn't match. We never mentioned it. Why would you? It's so cringe. I didn't care initially. I presumed it would blow over, but it indeed has not. He and a few others bring it up in a mocking or teasing way quite regularly. It really wasn't funny the first time, and it definitely wasn't the second, third, or fourth time. You see, that's the beautiful part with these sort of jokes. They never get old because they weren't funny to begin with. I want to highlight that the intention does not feel playful, but instead is delivered in a very demeaning way. I mean, a playful way would be, for example, if this dude came up to you during lunch and be like, "Oh, hey, you're on this dating app too? Oh yeah, I had this horror story on this dating app the other weekend, blah, 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 blah. Do you have any horror stories on the dating app?" You know, stuff like that would be funny, genuine bonding about the horrors of Tinder or whatever. This just seems like bullying behavior. Like he's very obviously... Why is the camera not focusing? Please, I'm here. Eyes up here, camera. Thank you. He's obviously trying to bully you for having this dating app and trying to write you off as desperate, despite the fact that he probably being on the same dating app himself, which is like a little bit ironic. I will occasionally get unsolicited advice on my appearance from the same coworker. Oh my God, is this going to be one of those instances where it's like, he's bullying you, but that's because he's just interested in you. He just likes you. God, people at like 9 years old are too old for that shit. You're definitely too old for that shit when you're like 30. I am looking for advice on what I can do in this situation without turning into an HR fiasco. I only plan to stay at this job until mid-2026. I want to make my next year enjoyable. What should I say next time he or another coworker brings it up? Something that will really embarrass them perhaps. Any advice is appreciated. Thanks. Update 1. Thank you all so much for the advice and overall validation. I am currently at work and still mulling things over, considering having a chat with said coworker if I see them today. Honestly, my payback towards this dude, if he was doing this against me, right, would be to just find a bunch of pictures on him from LinkedIn or whatever, then Photoshop what looks like screenshots from a dating profile on the same app, make it really cringe and embarrassing, and then just print it and put it up all over the office, like on the billboards and everything, asking like on the billboard like, hey, here's a screenshot of my dating profile, still single and desperate, do you have any female friends or family that might be interested? You know, let's do this and take it far. Take it really far. Any excuse to like just literally be Satan yourself should be embraced. My coworker told our boss, "You're not intimidating, you're just tall and loud." And I still think about it. This happened a few months ago, but it lives rent-free in my head. Our boss, he is 6'4" and loves to remind people, was kind of grilling one of my coworkers during a team meeting for a mistake that wasn't even really her fault. He kept raising his voice and getting all aggressive, and she just looked at him, completely calm, and goes, "You're not intimidating, you're just tall and loud." Dead silence. Then someone coughed. Then the boss just muttered something and moved on. Never brought it up again, lol. Honestly, legend behavior. She still works here. She drinks her tea like nothing happened. I aspire. That is how you melt someone's ego in lifetime. That is so beautiful. Treasure this woman. This is the kind of friend that you want to keep around. The one who just demolishes bullies within seconds. A boss tried to take credit for my work. It backfired beautifully. I had a big project wrap up today. My boss tried to take full credit during the meeting. Before he finished, my coworker, shout out to Lisa, I love her, just casually said, "Didn't Beth do all the reports and presentations though?" Whole room went quiet. Boss just kind of fake laughed and said, teamwork. Woo! I felt like I won an Oscar. Lisa is the heckin' MVP, fam. Oh my god, we all need more friends like this to just shoot down shitty bosses. That is amazing. Honestly, I went into this subreddit thinking it would all be like cursed stories and harassment reports and all kinds of stuff. But people like Lisa brings me some hope about coworkers. My god, everyone should aspire to be like Lisa. I got called into HR for inappropriate dancing at the company holiday party. Still annoyed. Every year, my company hosts a big formal holiday party with a best dressed competition. This year, I decided to go for it. I have been sewing my own clothes for a few years now, and occasionally do costumes for drag and burlesque shows. In working on the costumes, I've learned a lot of couture techniques in gown making. We'll probably butcher that word. Dyslaxative power, hell yes! Lots of feathers and beads and sparkle in both communities, but I haven't had the chance to make myself something wearable using anything I had learned. The holiday party felt like the right time to make myself something beautiful and show it off. I ended up making a floor-length red sateen gown with a big bow in the back, matching opera gloves, and a sparkly white farfurstool. Ah, yes, nailed that one too. It was significantly less glittery than initially planned, but once the base came together, I decided I liked the look of the sateen undisturbed and left it alone. The dress was a big hit. It was glamorous. I felt beautiful in it, and people were shocked that I had made it myself. I won Best Dress overall. Every time someone won, they got to go onto the dance floor and do a little fashion walk, spin around, answer a couple of questions, then go and sit down. This sounds like such a good party vibe, I'm gonna be honest. It just sounds like a cute little thing to do at an office party, lighten the mood a bit so everything isn't so stiff and corporate. When it was my turn to walk, I did a few things I had seen at burlesque shows, drag shows, and probably a few old Hollywood movies. I did the slow sidestep with wavy arms. I shrugged off the stole to better show off the bow and looked down over my shoulder. I think I did a 3-step turn at some point. I mean, sure, it's like a little bit of like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, but it's hardly like, inappropriate or whatever unless people are really sensitive at this office. I think I did a 3-step turn at some point. Nothing racy or inappropriate and less than a minute long. Anyway, someone reported it to HR. I got called in a few days after the party and was told that my dancing had made people, in plural, I asked if there were multiple reports, and they said there was only one. This is probably just someone who was jealous because they didn't win the best dress thing themselves. It's so petty, and it's so, like, obvious when it's only one single person reporting it. Is this just like the office bully going around there reporting people for, like, having the least bit of fun at a party? My god, what a buzzkill. They gave me the "work parties are still work" speech and let me go. I mean, I could see this, you know, if they were like literally flashing ass cheeks or whatever while doing their walk, but it doesn't really sound like they did. They did like the little classic, like walking around, waving and doing like this, like looking over their shoulder, all flirtatious, you know? It doesn't really sound inappropriate for like anything. They didn't even really give me a chance to say anything. I am so frustrated. The dress was work party appropriate, my walk was work party appropriate, and no one has said a single negative thing to my face. I'm still proud of myself in the dress, but it feels like a majorly misplaced effort. What a cruddy way to start the break and end the work year. Oh, and in the edit, I just want to clarify two things, since I think my mention of burlesque has rightfully made it sound like I brought my inner Jessica Rabbit to a stuffy work function. First is that the moves I added to my walk are not specific to burlesque. It can be found in virtually all forms of dance. I only mentioned burlesque and drag because that's where I learned about them. I'm not a dancer and have never been, and there are functions on a stage. I mean, that sort of explains it. I can see like how the word burlesque would raise some eyebrows, but it really doesn't sound like anything actually inappropriate was done, you know? Taking inspiration from like catwalk shows is not the same as not being safe for work. You know, it's like, it's kind of a stretch. A coworker claims that I groom children following office duck scavenger hunt. Oh my god, man. Is this just like the hyper Karen at the office tossing around like super serious allegation because someone does like a fun event? I need to dig into this, man. Boy, do I have a doozy. Last week, I had a delivery of 100 little ducks. You know, the kind people leave around their friends' houses when they are on holiday. My work is going through a tumultuous time, and I thought it might boost morale or at least give a reprieve from the negativity for 5 minutes. Oh yeah, I've seen plenty of posts. You know those tiny yellow ducks that people hide around houses and stuff? They're super cute. I love these sort of scavenger hunts. So I dotted these ducks around for people to find, and it went down a treat. With people even re-hiding the ducks for other coworkers the next day. People were laughing and talking about it for a couple of days. Even the directors found a couple, and they were a bit bemused but left us to it. One of the directors made a comment that without his glasses, he assumed they were sweets that had been left out. He was glad he took a closer look before trying some. Oh no, man. My problem colleague overheard this and then made the comment that I was grooming both children and men with the ducks. Are there even any children here? Isn't this like in the office? Wait, what kind of workplace is this? Hold on, what? So grown men are being groomed because there are tiny little cute yellow ducks being hidden around the office, and also grooming children that seemingly don't even exist in the office. Which are these children that are being groomed? Are the children here in the office with us right now? Office fun equals me being a child groomer. Reported to HR, but I think I'm ready to move on to a different company now. And then there are a couple of updates at the top of the story. Update. Had a meeting with my manager this afternoon and will be raising a formal grievance against the problem coworker. Honestly, sounds perfectly reasonable. These kind of allegations are not to be taken lightly. This is basically a slander. I mean, she's trying to claim to your entire office and workplace and potentially your professional network that you're like a predator. This is insane. This is something that you could probably take to like a legal place. A second update. It's been a few weeks now. Coworker is refusing to come into the office. Randomly accused coworker of being a predator. Get reported to HR. Refuse to come into office. Refuses to elaborate. Bruh. Come on, what the fuck? She has also not spoken to myself or other members of our team since. We are due to start mediation next week, apparently. Not sure what that will solve. Yesterday, I received a job offer for a role that's been ongoing since November. My notice period is 2 months, so only 2 months of this woman left to deal with. Oh my god, then there are even more updates to the story in separate posts. I actually went to the profile and found these updates. This is getting juicy. So it has been 3 weeks since my coworker called me a child groomer, and my manager called us into a meeting where I called out her poor behavior over the past 2 years. Oh, so this is not like a new thing. She's been pretty poopy for like a long time, but this time she really crossed the line. I mean, makes sense. These sort of people are typically quite consistent with their stinkiness. Since then, I have not heard or spoken to my coworker. She ignores any work-related messages and is refusing to come into the office. Isn't this just grounds for firing? So she's like literally refusing to work because of this disagreement that she started. That's insane. That is insane. How is she still employed? She is working from home, although I can't see that much work is being done. Oh, okay, so she's technically clocked in. That's annoying, then it can take a while for her to actually get fired for it. She has recently asked the department that I have been working closely with if she can join them in their office if she has to come into work. Oh, so she's gonna purposely like follow you around after making these baseless allegations. I would actually look into like legal action, like send her a heckin' cease and desist for this shit, because these kind of allegations are not to be taken lightly. Oh my god, man. HR has asked us if we would both be willing to attend mediation. I said yes. I'm not sure what my coworker's response was, but since it was due to start this week, and it hasn't, I assumed she refused to do it. I was going to raise a grievance over this, but I was invited to a job interview at a company I had previously applied for, and was offered the job. Contract signed and notice handed in. Oh, so they actually took the job. I mean, honestly, I would probably do the same. I would want to get away from this person as far as possible. And also, if the company isn't really taking it seriously, like what, you're inviting both people to mediation, and it's up to the coworker spreading like wild slander about other people in the office. It's like, maybe I don't want to show up to this mediation. I just want to keep calling people predators for no reason. Yeah, I can see not wanting to stick around in that company. Sounds like an absolute disaster. Oh my god, it keeps going. It's been 3 months since my coworker accused me of grooming children because I made up an office scavenger hunt. A few comments have asked for ages. She is mid-50s and I am 30. We are both married. Just over a month ago, me and problem coworker spoke over Teams. I apologized for losing my temper following the child grooming comment. I would never ever apologize for something like this in a billion years. And she apologized for how I took the child grooming comment. Oh, so her apology was basically that, I am sorry that you reacted poorly to me calling you a predator. Bruh, what an absolute piece of shit. She said she will not communicate with me again as she doesn't know how I will react to her comments. Okay, so she won't speak to people that might have a problem with her randomly calling them predators. Alright. And is now worried for my mental health. Then maybe don't go around and slander them. Maybe that's bad for people's mental health. Who the f would have thunk it? She has previously mocked my self-harm scars and called me an attention seeker. What? This is the most punchable person I have ever heard about in my life. How does she still have a job? She mocks people like self-harm experiences. She like randomly calls people's predators. How does this woman have a job? She should be fired and sued. Are you kidding me? We have had no further contact. HR set up a mediation meeting with a union. HR is so useless. What do you mean, mediation? How does this person still have a job? This is insane. We had to have individual one-to-one meetings and then all-day meeting with us together with the mediator. My individual meeting was non-eventful. I outlined everything that had happened and said that I felt mediation was just the company's tick-box exercise to prevent me claiming constructive dismissal and show that they had taken reasonable steps to prevent conflict. What do you mean, prevent conflict? Yeah, avoided taking reasonable actions at a colleague slandering the other colleagues and mocking them for like mental health stuff. What is this? What? The mediator said he could not respond. He did pressure me that I need to hear out her side, and she was very apologetic and upset about all of it. I'm sure she was. She seems like the kind of person who's very upset and apologetic, you know? That's why she made repeated comments over a 2-year time span about like accusing people of being predators, mocking self-harm scars, and etc, etc. That's because she's such an empathetic and apologetic person, right? Right? You know, the saying like actions speak louder than words exists for a reason. She is the reason. If I looked that up in like Urban Dictionary, it would be a picture of this workplace, Karen. I then had to explain the situation with a temp hire where PC, problem coworker, shouted and insulted the temp. They then had an argument and PC cried, saying they didn't want to hurt people. Ah, man. She sounds great. Is she just a cry bully as well? You know, on top of this like tick box of everything, she's also a cry bully. Man, what a great person. The next time they saw each other, a year later, PC insulted her weight. I also brought up that the silent treatment is now another form of bullying as I am being left out of key meetings and decisions and it's affecting my work. We did not attend the mediation full-day meeting. Unfortunately, my dad passed away unexpectedly the week before. I had already arranged DR's app because I had developed a facial twitch and I don't want to go into TMI, but other unpleasant side effects. The DR originally signed me off 2 weeks, but when I mentioned my dad had died that weekend, it was extended to a month, with the proviso that I had an additional meeting before the fit note ended in case I couldn't face returning to the company. I won't lie, that was the worst month of my life, and coming back to this mess was absolutely awful. That sounds so bad. Imagine going and grieving with your family, burying a loved one, and then you just know, at the end of this time off, you're gonna have to face this person again. Oh my god, man. I am so grateful that the doctors took me seriously, as my mom didn't cope, and we, my siblings, alternated staying with her until she was stable, which I wouldn't have been able to do without the month off. My parents live a 10-hour round trip away from me and further from my siblings. I originally had 2 weeks left on my notice period when I returned. On my first day back, my manager pulled me into a meeting to say that she and HR were worried about my mental health and wanted me to have a phased return to work, so asked me to WFH the rest of the week. My final day was also moved up due to outstanding annual leave. I was in the office less than 2 hours on my first day back, before the first person approached me for help because they had been trying to work with PC, the problem coworker, but she had been rude and dismissive. So this problem coworker is not only bullying and slandering the OP in this case, they're also being really mean and weird towards other coworkers as well. Why isn't HR and the boss taking action against the obviously common denominator? Man, what a shitty company. PC has applied for numerous internal jobs and been rejected for them all, one of which was with the first person to approach me for help. PC has continued to refuse all communication with me. I could see that she has a meeting with one of the directors, but aside from that, I'm not sure what else happened following the child groomer comments. I was very spoiled by the office friends, and they made a fuss with a lovely lunch out of my final day and some thoughtful gifts. That's really sweet though. It sounds like the rest of the coworkers are actually good beans. It's just this one shitty coworker and then HR and the boss refusing to actually do anything about it. Like going to mediation isn't actually doing anything about it. Going to mediation also kind of implies that both people are in the wrong. Like this is some kind of like 50-50 conflict, when in reality it's just one person being a bully and accusing people of horrendous shit. That isn't something that is mediation. That is when you sit that person down and tell them to shut the fuck up or they're fired. You know? What on earth are they doing? After lunch, I had my exit interview, where I was asked why I left. What a mystery. Would I consider coming back, and how do I rate the company? 1 star on everything. It was not a fun meeting, and I was very critical of HR and the company. I did state that had PC been handled properly from the start, I wouldn't have considered leaving the company. I am a week free of that company, and my facial twitch has already stopped. That is absolutely amazing. Hell yes. There might be further sightings of PC as I work part-time for a sister company. They have not managed to find a replacement for me, so I will continue in the role until a replacement is found, but there will not be a need for us to communicate. Honestly, this is the kind of stuff I would be super petty about. I would consider some kind of legal thing against this, because this is basically just slander from the coworker. Even if you don't want to do anything against like the company itself, even though they're absolute trash as well, I would just make sure to shut down this colleague. Like, make sure they know there are severe consequences for doing this kind of stuff, because sometimes that's the only language these kind of bullies understand. They're absolutely bonkers. I'm surprised she's like married and stuff. I can't imagine what the family has to go through if this is how she acts at the office. That's supposed to be like the professional context where you put on a facade. If this is the facade, what the f*** is behind the facade? I found out who has been stealing my lunch. I mean, this is a nice little contrast to the insanity of the last story. Since October, once every couple of weeks or so, my lunch was going missing. I am a hybrid worker and only in the office for a couple of days a week, if that. So it was still a pretty high rate of theft. I work in a small organization where everyone knows everyone, so it struck me as especially odd. Yeah, then it's not just, a random intern that doesn't know that, this milk belongs to this person or something and do stuff by mistake. This is someone specifically seeking it out, even though it's probably like less than 20 people in the office. That's pretty cringe. This week, I spotted the person eating my lunch. I confronted them. It was someone I knew but not well, and they insisted it was their lunch. After a minute of back and forth, they realized I had no incentive to make something like that up. We looked into it, and to make a long, tedious story short, they got an identical lunchbox as mine around October. But I mean, the food though. The food would still be different. I mean, God, even if I had an identical lunchbox to a colleague, the moment I open it and be like, oh, it's chicken in this one. I didn't bring chicken today. Maybe it's someone else's food. Who would have thunk it? Their wife packs their food so they didn't recognize it was not being their food. Ugh. They never know exactly what they're getting in their lunch. He apologized and said he will buy me lunch for the next couple of weeks. I told him it wasn't necessary, but he was nice about it and dropped off a gift card anyway. Mystery solved. I mean, sounds like a happy ending. Still alien to me that someone wouldn't know what they have in their lunchbox, like, at all, even if someone else is packing it. But, okay, well, mystery solved, I suppose. Happy ending? Yay. Things my man-child coworker finds offensive. My man-child coworker acts like a toddler. Here's a list of things that me or other coworkers have said or done that's offensive. Number 1. Asked if he remembered a popular kid show from the 90s. Apparently he didn't have cable, and I was calling him poor and made him insecure. Uh-huh. You're insecure whether or not you had a TV 40 years ago. Okay. Number 2. A supervisor asked him to move his car on trash day because he was in the way of the dumpster. Something about it's his car and he can park where he wants to. I start to understand what you mean when you say that he's a man-child. And here I was, naively thinking that toddlers cannot have a driver's license. I guess I was mistaken. Number 3. Asked what he brought for lunch. According to him, we were calling him fat or something. Is he also gonna get offended when you ask what he was doing this weekend? Oh, what were you up to this weekend? Oh, look at you elitist people. You probably think my weekend was too boring. Or I'm fat because I didn't go to the gym 3 times this weekend. Bruh, I'm just making Monday lunch conversation. Okay? It's not that deep. Number 4. Asked if he had looked at Shane to buy his girlfriend clothes after he complained about the price at Torrid. Said she deserved better and was offended that someone suggested she didn't. What's up with this dude making everything so weirdly personal? You can't be like, oh, what did you have for lunch today? Oh, chicken salad. Instead it's like, what? Why are you calling me fat? Why does everything become instantly personal? That is so weird. Number 5. Supervisor reminded him of a report deadline. Said he was a micromanager. Number 6. Accidentally scared him when saying good morning. Refused to speak to me the whole day. Number 7. Walked behind him in the hallway. Makes him feel followed, but we were going to the same place. That's just this week. Every day it's a roll of dice if he'll be offended by something. He never goes to HR, just gets snappy towards everyone if he'll speak to us at all. Just report him to HR. Come together and everyone just reports the weird shit he's doing to them. If HR gets 10 different complaints about him being snappy about the pettiest stuff, maybe that's a valid reason, So he realizes that he's being a man-child because obviously his parents never told him no. Scare him every morning so he won't talk to you. Sounds much more peaceful that way. Good morning! And then you're just left alone for the entire week. Yeah. A coworker claimed I didn't bring the food I brought for the Thanksgiving potluck. Just found this thread and it reminded me of the time I bought pasta salad for a Thanksgiving potluck. I was trying my best to assimilate to the environment and thought I would make pasta salad in a Pyrex dish. I left it out so people could dig into it as I went about my work. I came back for lunch, and not only did I find I was the only one who brought the dish in, but that coworker A was raving about the pasta and telling everyone supervisor B made it. I was so shocked. I asked coworker A what made her think supervisor B made it. And she was like, well, it's pasta and she cooks a lot, so yeah, she probably made it. Man, if assumptions was like an Olympic game, she would win both gold, silver, and bronze. Bruh. Baffled, I told her I made it, but she ended up laughing and saying no way I made it. I told her, why would I claim I made it if I didn't? That would be so weird for me to do, and supervisor B didn't even say that she made it. She took a long look at me before realizing she f***ed up with a completely wrong assumption. Looking back, maybe it was a subconscious racial stereotype that she was projecting because the majority of the workforce was white, and I was one of the few Asians there. I never again brought another dish to share. I ended up leaving the state entirely because I felt like despite my efforts, I didn't fit in. Edit to add, I dealt with a boatload of microaggressions before making the decision to return back to my parents' state earlier than planned. Many of the microaggressions I didn't even identify until now because many of my friends at the time told me just to shake it off. I mean, to be fair, if you're in an office and you repeatedly get told just to shake things off, it's probably not going to be a super pleasant environment, right? Even if every individual thing isn't the end of the world, so to say, if you have to shake something off every single day, it will certainly wear down the vibe. Creepy coworker. Ron. Hi. How are you doing tonight? Whenever you're not busy, I would like to talk to you. Are you working today? The Pixies are performing at the Hollywood Bowl on June 20th. If I buy the tickets, will you go with me? Hollywood Palladium. Are you receiving my messages? I sent you a few. Yes, I've been receiving your messages and calls. I am not really comfortable communicating or hanging out outside of work. Well, that sucks for me, I guess. I was gonna say that I fell in love with you since the first day I met you, but if you don't feel the same, I guess it doesn't matter.
Oh no, is this a coworker nice guy? Aw, fuck me, man.
And no, I am not a creeper. It's a good thing you have to specify that. That's exactly what a creeper would say. I think it's insulting. I could understand if you were 13 and call someone a creeper. Why are you even making this scenario up? Well, okay, but you're a 23-year-old woman whose beautiful eyes I fell in love with every time you took off the glasses. I mean, fell in love with you with them on. I'm just saying that when you took them off, my heart, just melted. It made you even more lovable. Okay, you go ahead and tell Nick to fire me because I'm harassing you. I was hoping this would be the best day of my life, but of course, because I'm the black sheep, white sheep emoji, it turned out to be the worst day of my life. Because now, not only do I not have you, but I also don't have a job. Oh, fucking well, fuck me. I have been working with this guy for 7 months now. He was weird, but I always was nice and kept small talk. I knew he liked me somewhat after he tried asking me out for a burger a couple of months ago, but I changed the subject before he could even finish the sentence. He would always find reasons to talk to me and paid attention to everything I did, like what I ate for lunch, any slight changes in my appearance, etc. I thought he would take the hint, but I guess not. He kept texting me this past weekend and left me 2 voicemails saying that he really needed to talk to me about something important. So I finally responded that I wasn't comfortable in the nicest way I could. That's when he decided to dump all this on me. And yes, I did report him. He's no longer an employee as of yesterday. He's also 56 years old with kids older than I am. And just to put this in perspective, he was 33 when I was born. Man, what an absolute catch. 33-year age gap with a nice guy in the office who have kids older than you, and then he lashes out and is angry when you report him for harassment when he keeps texting you about going out. Bruh, what a keeper. I would say be careful about this guy because he sounds like the kind of person who could very easily lash out regarding something like this because he believes that he's still not in the wrong, right? The way he talks about this is like massive self-pity, right? I was hoping this would be the best day of my life, but I'm a black sheep and, I got fired and I lost my job and I lost you and all this kind of stuff. Is just the universe treating him poorly and he's a perpetual victim despite him being like really harassing and creepy towards coworkers and then getting fired because of it. So be careful with this person because the way he's talking about this, it's very clear that he sees himself as the victim of an injustice and that can make him justify all kinds of crazy shit, Hopefully he just leaves you alone, but it's good to keep your eyes open. A 35-year-old coworker complained to boss because I didn't invite her to my party. Wait, is the company gonna micromanage what people do in their free time now? That's great. So I am 24, turning 25, and my boyfriend and I have very close birthdays, so we usually celebrate together. We planned our party, and I invited a couple of my girls from work. These are friends I hang out with regularly outside of work, and I sent them all a discreet message with the invitation. Well, my 35-year-old coworker found out about it because someone was talking about it out loud. She calls me into a room and goes, "I'm just really sad," and goes on whining about how I didn't invite her to my birthday party and how upset she is about it. But are you even spending time with this person outside of the office? Are you even friends outside of I don't know, Monday lunch small talk? If you have never spent time with someone outside of work, I wouldn't really expect to be invited to a birthday party. I wouldn't really care. To make it worse, she went to our bosses and complained to them, and then they spoke about being sensitive to others in a staff meeting. I sent my friends a private message. I don't know how much more sensitive I can be. One of my coworkers was getting married and invited her friends from work, and another coworker who wasn't invited complained to the supervisor. The supervisor called a meeting and confronted the bride about not inviting everyone. Is your office seriously expecting that when someone gets married, they have to invite and pay for food and stuff for the whole office? Is your office insane? That's when I asked the boss if I was invited to her birthday party at her house that weekend. She had invited a couple of coworkers. She got pretty visibly upset and just said, "Never mind, get out of my office." I wasn't even invited to the one coworker's wedding, but I love getting messy. It's like the art of gracefully and humbly admitting one was wrong has all but vanished. Oh my god, that level of irony is insane. Can you imagine that? As the boss, you try to criticize someone working in your office for not inviting everyone to their wedding, when you, as the boss, don't even invite everyone to your parties and stuff. Which, in my mind, would come first, even if you want to make that argument, right? If the boss wants to treat the workers to something, that makes more sense. You know, gifts go down, not up. Sort of. That's pretty much a good way of thinking about it. This is insane. Did the boss seriously try to like micromanage who is invited to someone else's wedding? Oh my god. This is the kind of shit you get when you have offices claiming stuff like, we're a family at this office. Why are you criticizing me like you're my stepmom? Please, I can invite who I want to my damn wedding. Something similar happened to me at work as well. Small office, 3 of us with similar roles worked in the back office, 1 person front office. Front office coworker made it well known that she didn't like or respect the rest of us. She thought we didn't do our jobs the way she thought we should. Note, she was not our manager or supervisor or boss, but due to our education and training, the 3 of us held completely different roles and scopes of work than she did. Made things difficult, both professionally and personally at work, and was just all around one of those people you want to avoid as much as possible. One day, we were on our own for lunch. We often have catered lunches from office reps. And front office loudly and purposefully made her own plans for lunch and didn't include anyone else. Alright, cool, no problem. Oh no, I don't get to have lunch with the weird, super elitist, semi-bully coworker. What a bummer. The 3 of us in the back weren't initially planning to do anything for lunch together. But then, when we were all saying pizza sounded good, we decided we would go to a little local pizza place for lunch. Lunch hour comes around, and we leave. A front office complained to our office manager, who is not on site, doesn't witness the day-to-day dynamics, that we left her out of lunch plan, and it really just upset her. She's just another crybully. Oh my god, when she makes lunch plans, she's so elitist and like, oh my god, I'm gonna go there and you're not invited. But then they're like, alright, I guess we'll go have lunch then. They're like, oh my god, you excluded me. Exhausting people. Of course, she hadn't told our manager the full story, just enough to make us look bad for excluding her. We provided the rest of the details, that she had already made her own lunch plans, that she didn't include us in her plans either, and that she absolutely hates pizza and refuses to eat it. Manager changed her tune after getting additional details that front office had conveniently left out. It's wild that adults who happen to work in the same location expect to be included in things off the clock. I mean, especially when you act like this about it. Oh my god, like I can see being pleasant and including people and be like, oh yeah, me and a few others are getting lunch, do you want to tag along? You know, just like pleasant adult people. But this like weird expectation that you should be invited to coworkers' weddings, or they should like cater their own birthdays after you or something. Do you even spend time with them outside of the office? How much can you expect? Oh my god, did you invite them to your birthday? Probably not. Oh my god, why is everything one-directional with these people? My coworker keeps copying my outfits and then claims I am copying her. Man, this is the pettiest office drama. At first, it was flattering. She would compliment my outfits, ask where I got things, but now it's every week. The same colors, the same shoes, the same hairstyle. And when people point it out, she says, oh, funny. I have always been wearing this style forever, but I guess it's trending now. Girl, you literally copied my Monday fit for Wednesday. I am not mad about the clothes. I'm mad about the denial. Just admit you're taking inspo and stop acting like you invented boots and beige sweaters. Take pictures of your Monday outfit, then show others when she makes comments. Post them on social media. Monday fit, then scroll back to show people. Lol. Oh, that'd be funny. That'd be funny. That's like the amount of like pettiness you need to deal with this kind of stuff. Don't get down in the mud, just casual petty shit. My coworker called out sick, CC'd everyone. Hey guys, I'm not doing too well. I just need your good vibes. You don't even need to pray. Just need any extra vibes to send my way. That would be very dope. I can't tell if this is like a sarcastic email to a friend that accidentally got CC'd to everyone, or if this is how they actually talk. Turns out prayer, manifestation, and vibes are all greater than or equal to each other, here on Earth and only on Mars. What? I may have to go find a ghost to cover my shift today. I have been throwing up and pooping all night and I pissed my bed again. If anyone could help get another sprue to make sure the theater doesn't burn down while I'm out sick because I'm ill. Too much weed, since weed is worse than nicotine. Says our gods, Uncle Sam, apparently. Sorry for feeling under the weather. Los Cientos. Amen. I think this is a serious email. My coworker called sick CC'd everyone. I thought it was like CC'd by mistake, but I think it is that they CC'd everyone on purpose to let everyone know they're sick so they could fill the shift. And this is unironically how they talk. Oh my god, that is so funny. Well, laddies, lasses, and lassos, I do hope you enjoy these coworker stories as much as I enjoyed having you here. You see, that's the positive thing in working in an office. It can always get worse. Stay positive, y'all. Have an amazing day, nighttime, red time, as you live, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Mwah.